Hey, I'm Kev, Kamustica, and welcome to the fifth part of Season Challenge. We began the sixth round of the season round Brazil, but because we beat Kobayashi round Austin, we got his Sauber seat and we need a new rival. I try to be realistic choosing my rivals for this season, but in the Sauber there's so much choice, and you could be in the Williams, the Force India, the Mercedes, or even the Ferrari, but in the end I chose a Renault driver.
Romain Grosjean is now your rival.
Yeah, the Frenchman is our rival for the next two races, hopefully, and he thinks it's going to be close. Well, it could be round Brazil. We're a second off in the Toro Rosso round Austin. Maybe we can be closer in the Sauber round Brazil. Let's go to qualifying.
The skies are grey and the track is wet. This is looking to be an exciting weekend of racing in Interlagos for the Brazilian Grand Prix.
Oh, it's going to be a tricky decision in the correct setup. Medium downforce. Because you got the long straights there. Or do we go for the high downforce? Because look at that middle sector, the tricky middle sector. You need the high downforce. In the end, went for high downforce. We want the car glued to the track. Even though it is wet, you're going to get the back end slide in a bit. But the high downforce helps with the car being stable in these conditions as we go towards the CNRS. Where do we brake? A bit early because we don't have a reference point for our braking here. So just being cautious, and that means the AI are faster than us as we're really slow through the first few corners, just feeling their conditions, feeling how much we can push in these as we get a brake bias to the rear, brake around 100, get down to third gear for the left-hander, then accelerate through the next one towards these glorious right-handers at the top of the hill in this middle sector. Drop down to fifth, be very cautious through these, and then you're almost on the brakes immediately for the right-hander. Get down the second, and we're gaining on the AI, as you can see. Now this left-hander is so tricky to get right. You really have to wait for the car to be pointing straight and feel the grip there as we go down again to the right-hander. That's like the first one, really tricky to get right, then accelerate through down the hill, and then we're right behind the AI as we outbrake them into the left-hander at the top of the hill. Now we accelerate, we've got curves in our pocket, we can accelerate down this long front straight. What's that red light doing there? Get away from here. Goes as we go towards the line. Oh, is this going to be pole? We don't see AI in front of us, so we head towards the line. Is this going to be Sauber on pole? Yes, it is in our first race for Sauber. What a result. 0.3 of a second faster than Hamilton, my teammate in 11th. And look at Grosjean down in 12th in the Lotus. Over a second behind us. It's going to be a tough race for him in the midfield with all of that spray around him. We've got a nice clear view at the front as you go to race day. Of course, it's still raining because in Season Challenge the conditions don't change between qualifying and the race, or it doesn't appear to anyway. As you go onto the grid, there it is, the Sauber on pole with Hamilton beside it. There's my teammate in 11th, and there's Grosjean alongside him in 12th. And this is going to be a tricky race because of the conditions, and we've got our rival way down the field. You just got to concentrate on hitting our braking points and being first to the first corner. As we curse it, we're bogged down a bit, we're changing up too much as we brake for the CNRS a bit early, and look at that, Hamilton and Alonso try to dive past, but we get past them again. We get back into first place as they slither wide, and look at this, Vettel takes advantage of it. He gets past Hamilton and Alonso, and look at the gap we've got at the end of the first sector, over a second ahead already, with Vettel behind, Alonso just behind him. He got back past Hamilton as we go into the middle sector. Now we're just concentrating, hitting our braking points, because it's so easy to get wide in the wet. It's such a difficult conditions this, and as I've said before, it's not my best conditions to drive in. As you can see, especially this left-hander, I lose so much time in that left-hander because you have to get the car in, just wait for it, wait for the grip, and then accelerate away. And during that waiting, because of the way I drive in the wet, which is very smooth, just carrying momentum through corners, I lose all of that speed in the middle of the corner. So we still got over a second gap to Vettel behind as we curse it down the front straight for the end of the first lap. But as I was saying, I was losing corner speed in the middle, and if you see someone like Game Wyatt, he revs the engine, he keeps the speed up, he's very good at that. I need to incorporate that into my driving style, but I'm just concentrating Vettel behind in this lap, in this race as we're on the second lap. And look at Grosjean down in 12th. The Frenchman just can't move up the grid. He's got spray stuck in the midfield, and look at the front, nicely spread out. As you can see, as we go to the end of the first sector, Vettel is really close up. He's around a quarter of a second behind us with Alonso in tow. But there's a nice gap to the cars behind, to the chasing pack. As we go into the middle sector, we're just being very cautious though, as you can see. Just making sure we're hitting our braking points, because we don't want the AI to get past. And then we get that face full of spray. We don't want face full of spray in our face. So we're going to be very, very cautious, very careful with our braking. As I like my driving style, it's all about momentum, much like real life, as they would say at the karting line. If it gets a bit wetter, drivers stick to the outside of the corners, because in the inside it's easy to spin, it's no grip there really, it's all on the outside of the corners. But in these conditions there's only intermediates, we can take the normal lines, and as I said, mine's about momentum, barely braking early and then just carrying the speed through the corner. As we go to the end of the second lap, we got Vettel right on our tail. Look at that, half a second behind. Grosjean still down in 12th. Hamilton is 4th with Alonso in 3rd. And now look at this, Raikkonen 121. Great that from the Iceman, but he's in the lower half of those points positions. He's still fighting in the spray, and you can see how we're really controlling the pace of this race, as we're a couple of tenths behind that Raikkonen lap, and we've really got that chasing pack right behind us. Look at that train of cars. We're the conductor as we go into the double right hand. Oh, the car, we're hacksawing at the steering wheel. You're going to see that a lot, or you have seen it a lot in this race, just hacksawing at the steering wheel, making sure the car just continues going in the line on the track, and we're not losing the back end. And sometimes I do it preemptively, because you know you're going to lose, you're going to feel the car losing grip at the rear, so you want to catch it before it actually affects your time. And as you can see, we're going up towards the hill to the left-hander. Oh, we forgot the brakes, I didn't do it then. And Vettel, he was just behind us waiting for that mistake. He's in the lead, and oh, now we've got the chasing. We are being the chaser. We were being hunted before, now we're the hunter with Alonso. Got a nice gap to him behind us. He had to check up at our gap there and our mistake, and we're right behind Vettel. And this is one of my weakest points of my driving that you've probably seen in my videos before. Overtaking and being consistent and just chasing the guy in front, just being consistent and planning the moves. Because I'm very inconsistent driver, I'm very impatient sometimes. So this is what I've got to work on about, even with the AI. Great practice, the AI, as well. If you can just follow them like this is what we're doing. Hitting our marks, hitting those corners consistently. Now we're planning our attack. Where are we going to move it? After these two right-handers, let's see. We've got a good exit through the second one, and we outbrake Vettel into the right-hander. Have we made it into the lead? Have we got the lead? Is going to the left-hander a bit wide? Is he on our inside? We can't see him in the wing mirrors. We've got a nice late apex. We've got a nice speed out of the corner, and we are back into the lead with Alonso right behind Vettel now, as he takes a sniff at second as we go through down the bottom of the hill. Oh, there's such a tricky corner. Even though it can be flat, as you saw in qualifying, sometimes you have to take a lift and wait for the back end. So easy to get away as it gets a bit light down the hill. The back end can get away so easily. So you have to be careful through that corner as you go on to the last lap with Vettel in tow. Look at that, almost a second gap now though. So we've got a nice lead onto this last lap, and look at Grosjean down in 12th. The Frenchman just can't move in this race. Maybe my teammate is helping me. Perez in 11th there, or maybe he's moved up and he's still just helping keep Grosjean behind. You never know as we go into the middle sector. Vettel, he's closed up a lot. Look at that. 3/10 of a second behind now as he go into the double right-hander. Oh, we just got to hit our marks now. We've got to be very careful, very cautious. We're going to use a bit of what we've got in reserve that we were saving in those early laps, as you saw. Controlling the pace, now we can unleash the pace as he go through this left-hander car going a bit wide. It just likes doing that. Making sure we're not locking up now, really hitting those brakes gently, just carrying the momentum through the corner as you go through the left-hander up towards the hill. And now down to third, get the car in, oh, get a good exit, get the acceleration, get the curves on, and we're getting away from Vettel. Oh, he's not going to deny us today. Could this be the first win for Sauber in our first race? And first win of the season, yes it is, as we cross the line, punch the air. We won the race, we got our target off first, but most importantly, we beat Romain Grosjean, we beat a rival, we're one up in the challenge already, and here is Crofty.
Romain Grosjean has finished behind his rival in the rival challenge. He'll be bitterly disappointed about that result, but he'll have to put it behind him and focus on making it all square for the next race.
Oh, the next race round Australia is going to be a tough one, and he's going to be concentrating hard to beat us there as we move up to 5th in the championship. Only 64 points behind Button now. Maybe we can still win the title. We gained 15 points in that race, and I hope you enjoyed that race, because the next one is round Australia tomorrow. So till next time, cheerio. Oh yeah! Who's the daddy now? Who won the race? Who's the winner now? Yes! Show your fingers. Oh, you like that, Seb? You're going to see more of it this season. Yes! Oh, hi, Seb. Yeah, you like the fingers, and yeah, you're going to see more of that. Now, piss off. This is my moment.